Oh boy, I'm sure this conversation is about to ruffle someone's feathers out there. So yes, we're going to be talking about this one right here. Decided to play through Cyberpunk 2077 recently. Doesn't deserve the hate at all, in my opinion. This comes from Jack Fay, but you'll note that it is very popular of a discussion, over 4,400 upvotes. By far the most discussed topic going on right now within the Cyberpunk community, and a lot of people seem to agree that Cyberpunk in its current state does not deserve the hate that it once received. But we're going to be diving into this in depth and see what the community has to say about it. Plus, check this out, this topic right here. I kid you not. It says you are not prepared for this 10-hour Cyberpunk review. Yes, someone actually reviewed Cyberpunk 2077, and their video review, or I should say it's a series, is 10 hours long. I kid you not. And we're going to be talking about some really cool additions to Cyberpunk through the modding community that I really hope to see officially released by CD Projekt Red. So let's dive into this right now. Hey everyone, what's happening? Open World Games here. Hope you're doing good, and we are talking about more Cyberpunk 2077. First of all, starting out with this very controversial topic right here about playing through Cyberpunk and how it receives all of this hate, and it does not deserve the hate. So let's get into the replies. Oh, this should be very interesting. So we have right here, Senor Calicio says, I played on PS4 at launch, and it definitely did deserve the hate regarding bugs and crashes then, but I still did beat the game on all endings, and it's one of my favorite games to date. So despite the issues, he managed to power through big time. Like if he's on regular base PS4, man, that right there, in my opinion, is an accomplishment for sure. Because I know for a fact that console, that platform really had it rough. Now, all right, let's get into this one right here. This comes from X King Space X, and it says, I've seen people back in 2010 say they did not suffer any bugs or crashes while playing Fallout New Vegas on PS3, while I was over here unable to play it due to all of major crashes that I even had to unplug my PS4 Slim from the wall. Crap was insufferable. I actually remember going through the same thing. Now it says, but I believe them now, even though at the time I thought they were all lying just to defend Obsidian. Until it happened to me, I was able to play Cyberpunk on my basic PS4 from start to finish without any crashes or any framers problem. I did have some minor glitches, but nothing game breaking. It ran really well. And yeah, Cyberpunk reminds me of Fallout 4, a fun game, but under-delivered with the core fan base expectations. The way they promoted this game sounded like they were going to revolutionize the genre, but we got more of the same. Yeah, I remember when Fallout 4 came out, it had its own community, which really did, voice their disappointments with that game, and it was kind of underwhelming because they felt like things were not fleshed out as they were expecting, especially with certain conversation stuff. And the same thing did happen with Cyberpunk for sure, but it's really interesting how people have different experiences, even though they're on the same platform. One person isn't going through many bugs, another person is, and it just shows how difficult it is to develop for multiple platforms and how it varies from person to person. Now, we have Alvak who says this, I don't think everyone was criticizing the visuals unless you were on a previous gen console. It was more about the gameplay mechanics, short storyline, numerous bugs, and unfulfilled promises. If it was marketed as cool as Cyberpunk game without all the hype, then it might have been received, somewhat positively. Also, they definitely shouldn't have tried to release it on previous gen consoles. I totally agree with you there, or at least severely delay the previous gen consoles. That's just my opinion. It says that seemed like a purely on an exact decision to get the maximum number of people buying the game, but it meant a considerable amount of resources were diverted to try and create a playable experience for those consoles, and they clearly failed. But yes, in some respects the visuals are amazing, but in others they're quite dated too. It's a mixed bag, but these images do look quite amazing. I agree. Yeah, the original poster did post some images showing off the game. I think it was on a high-powered PC, and that's where you really want to experience. I remember Forbes released a video in the past few weeks stating, yeah, if you have like a 380 Ti graphics card and you're playing on PC, it is like quite the experience playing Cyberpunk for sure. Just the experience of the graphics alone and seeing this city. But again, it's like it's not fleshed out, and that's part of the problem. It can't just be all about graphics. It just can't. You have to have good core gameplay, story, all that stuff. Now, Butt says this: unfulfilled promises was the main thing. That and the thing barely functioned at release. It's like 10% of what they said it would be all the way up to release. We have a reply here from Skylar Motter, who says, day 320 of there still not being any in-game way to change V's physical appearance after the intro. I thought for sure we would at least have some sort of free DLC by now that was just like released. Oh, here you go. You can change your appearance at the mirror. It's all good. You know, you don't have to worry about it now. Now you can change the appearance wherever you, whenever you want to, right at the mirror at your apartment. And that still has not happened, which to me is showing just how behind they are right now. Of course, the good news is officially they are on a hiring spree. I just feel like they are undermanned, I guess you would say. They don't have enough staff to do what they want, and they really, really need to get more people hired. And it seems like that's the undertaking they're going through right now. Hopefully it all works out. We'll see in the next 2 years. But Butts also says this: whether or not you feel the specific criticisms of issues with the game are valid or not, CD Projekt Red blatantly lied about both the content and the polish of the game, and then released a completely unfinished product, cheating everyone out of what the game could have been if they'd spent another 2 years on it. They absolutely deserve the hate. Let me know what side of the fence you guys are on with this conversation. At this point right now, of course, after all of the updates, after update 1.3, what do you guys think? Do you think they deserve the hate, or do you think people should begin backing off of CD Projekt Red and letting them do what they want and what they need to do to fix the game? You know, my assessment is they should have delayed the game an entire year, and right now as it stands, the game is missing a lot of core features for sure. I mean, simple things, guys, that should be in any open world game that are absolutely missing. I mean, this stuff appeared in The Witcher 3, so yeah, I think they need to get a move on and really hyper focus internally on how they can fix this thing, which, crossing our fingers, that's what they're doing now. Ayla T says, I think the main hate is on the marketing team's shoulder. Definitely an enjoyable game if you can go past the awfully big promises. Asper says, it's not only the marketing team that built the hype. This is their follow-up to The Witcher 3. We are expecting them to up their game even more the way Rockstar does with each new game. And all the lies and hype of that, and here we are. Yeah, you know, people were expecting, hey, these are the guys that made the Witcher franchise. So I think it was normal to expect the next big thing from CD Projekt Red. But again, I don't think CD Projekt Red realized how difficult it was going to be building up an entirely new franchise from the ground up. That's the biggest difference. The Witcher has been around, of course, 3 entries, and this is a fresh start, and it's much more difficult to build a brand new IP. Now, let's get into this mod. I gotta talk about this one. This is really, really cool. It's called the Street Kid Glam Apartment mod, and it really showcases, if we go into the image right here, it showcases what is potentially possible in the future for changing up the actual look of your apartment. This is just only one mod. I'm gonna throw the mods in the link below, but here's the Street Kid, excuse me, Thrash apartment. As you can see right here, it has more of a red theme, but I kind of love the clutter. It really feels like it's lived in, and man, the absolute detail. Like, the one thing about Cyberpunk is that it is a visually stunning game on PC. Now we have the Street Kid Techie apartment, but if we scroll down here, he talks about how he's making 3 different types of mods. Well, a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 mods here out of 3 different themes. One dedicated Nomad, Corpo, and Street Kid, but this looks really, really cool. Here's another look at this one right here. This is a Street Kid variation, and then if you are into the Corpo type stuff, check this one right here. It's called the Corpo Zen apartment, and it looks beautiful. I think this is my favorite one. It's just, look at the dragon on the wall, the sheer amount of detail, and the trees. I love the Japanese style trees. The detail is absolutely insane. I would like to live here. I'm just gonna tell you what. Yeah, this is where I would live if I lived in Night City. That is really cool. But anyway, I'll throw those mods in the link below. I mean, in the description below as a link, so you can click it and check it out for yourself. But we got to talk about this one right here as well. It's called "You Are Not Prepared for This 10-Hour Cyberpunk Review." This was posted by Forbes, and it comes from let me see, the channel was called Action Button, and he does these massive reviews right here. Check him out right here. And at first I thought Forbes got it wrong. Like, you could see here that the first video is 1 hour long. You know, I'm like, no, it's a 1 hour long review. It's not 10 hours long. But I quickly found out by digging deeper into this, this guy has 9 more videos that are actually unlisted because he doesn't want to clutter his channel. So you can watch a 10-hour review. Let me know if any of you are brave enough to sit there for 10 hours straight and marathon this thing. But man, it's like more of a documentary what he has created here, and kudos to him because it's very impressive work. So check it out in the description below if you want to find out more about that. But yeah, let's dive into your top comments about my most recent Cyberpunk video right here. It says Cyberpunk, well, this is surprising. New studio working on new game, but what is it? So yeah, CD Projekt has a brand new studio that they have acquired, and it's really cool because they're working on some sort of mysterious new game. But if I can get this playing right here, but this is what their games usually look like right here. And it's like this top-down view. They do survival games, base building games, and they even have experience working on cooperative type games where 4-player co-op. So they have some multiplayer experience there. But CD Projekt is going to be taking a step back, letting them have creative freedom and doing whatever they want. But they're actually working on a new game on an existing CD Projekt IP. That means either going to be Cyberpunk or The Witcher, which I think is really exciting. I want to see more games like The Ascent. So let's see what you guys had to say about this one. We have John Danny, who says the game needs an overhaul for the dress code, one that bases your stats more on cybernetic enhancements than what you're wearing, kind of like the Saints Row franchise. And maybe you can have small attributes like flame, hack, electrical, acid, corrosion, resistance added to the outfits. That'd be really, really cool. And then maybe, you know, within the world, you have certain enemy types that dish out that type of damage and you have to really prepare for them. That's the sort of thing that I personally love, because it means that you kind of like have a more difficult time exploring the open world and gives you a reason to really invest in your character and prepare for that area. Let me know if you're, the same way about open worlds, but I like when certain areas in open world offer a challenge in terms of the environment itself and the enemies in that environment. Now, our 707 Funny says, hey, thanks for always talking about CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. Hope everyone in the community is doing good. Yeah, I promise you guys I would keep you updated on Cyberpunk, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, Austin says Nomad Survival in the Midwestern US. That would be pretty epic. Sounds really cool to me. Absolutely. Mix Darwin Life says, for all the hires, job listings, and acquisitions, none of this has translated into any progress. We aren't getting any new content until next year. The game still looks like a ghost town. And that's one of the things they need to work on with the development of this game, is absolutely fine-tuning how many NPCs are roaming around the world. And that's why they've hired encounter experts to build, more encounters in the open world, at least I hope. And then also we're going to be seeing open world designers come aboard the Cyberpunk team, at least I hope. We'll see what happens. But there it is, guys, the latest happenings around Cyberpunk 2077. And I hope to cover more open world gaming news here in the very near future for you all. Let me know what you want to see. I'm always curious. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.